don't lose yourself in this industry. It's very easy to do. Um, it's very easy to do. You your life can change instantly. It will change instantly when you start doing this job. Some people all of a sudden start making money they've never seen. You're around
Yeah.
famous people. You're around so many fast moving parts, and there's just so much happening, and it can blow your mind. Focus on the goal and pay attention to everybody else, because I personally made the mistake of being very selfish for
Oh,
a long time in
okay.
the industry. I
Yeah.
focused on me, um, and I wasn't looking at the bigger picture. And there were a lot of moving parts. And I think if you can do that early on, and I see that in a lot of up and coming crew members. To be honest, it's like not to date myself, but I'm older than a lot of them,
Yeah.
and it's cool to see that people are learning these lessons and the mistakes that I made early, early in my life. They're learning that they're making those mistakes early on. They're noticing it, and they're fixing it. So be aware. So I think that boils down to be aware.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough too, because I mean, it like you mentioned, it breeds some selfishness, because you kind of have to have that confidence no matter what position. I know that I can just speak as a screenwriter. You have to believe in what you're putting out there, or the
Hmm.
people reading it aren't going to believe what you put out there. I imagine it's the
Absolutely.
same with anything you're doing. Like, I know what I'm doing, and you have to project this, like, I know it, kind of mentality. When a lot of the times we don't know, like nobody knows what's going on. Um,
No. So one of my favorite things to tell a new grip on set is you are the only one here who knows how new you are.
ah, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, no one's paying that close of attention. If they are, they're not paying enough attention to their own job. So
right.
walk in there and be confident, know what you're doing. And, it's not, I don't want to say fake it till you make it. It's one of my least favorite sayings ever.
Yeah.
But walk in there with some purpose and some confidence. And even if you're confident that it's your first day on set, be in there and be fucking confident about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and just be, I guess, willing to accept that there's going to be some bumps in the road, but you'll smooth them out and figure it out, and then you'll be able to help somebody out on their way up next time.
Yeah,
Pull somebody
absolutely.
else up.
Absolutely.
So the best thing to do is find those other union teachers, because they know how it goes. And I will say that is actually part of why I started organizing the other union teachers, is because we had a bunch of new teachers, and I didn't want it to be for them like it was for me, where there's no communication and no handbook, and you have kind of no idea what you're doing, because you're told, hey, you teach on set. What you're not told is, because people don't know this, you're also responsible, like, for the child welfare of
Yeah.
those students. But I would say, a large part of my job, Abby, is telling very powerful men no.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you just got to get over that, and be prepared for it. And common sense is key when it comes to things being, what's a hazard and what's not. But the biggest threat to your career that you're going to face is when some director comes, some AD comes up and says, hey, the director wants to talk to you, and they put your arm around you, and the director shows up and they say, hey, we're running behind, and we just would like to keep these babies for another few hours. And hey, the parents are fine with it. Is that okay? Can we just do that? And that you'll have to have the spine to say, no, you cannot.
Now, these babies got to go home.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sending these babies away. And it seems kind of ironic that you said there's no handbook. That feels like the one position that should literally come with a handbook is a teacher position.
It should.
Maybe it's just
And
me.
you know what's worse, and I don't want to spend too much time talking about it because this is a big push I'm going to have in February after this election, because it's one thing at a time, and also, frankly, this is a very serious issue, and it's separate and it's bigger than the election, and I don't want people to think I'm using it to get elected. But our Department of Labor has caused a catastrophe in that a few years ago they took our job and they sort of separated the two duties of the job and changed some of the rules around the welfare rep, and they called it the child labor coordinator, which I immediately protested because I said, we're not coordinators. That confuses people. We don't hire children.
Yeah.
But they said anyone can do the welfare portion. All you have to do is be older than 21 and pass a background check. And then like 2 years ago, they put a 6-minute video on the DOL website and said, okay, now you got to take this test. and then people believe that qualifies them to do this job. And so what that has led to is a PA is told, you're the CLC. And they make a PA do that job. Oftentimes, while that PA is performing their actual job of being a PA, which is incredibly problematic, which means that kid's not being watched. And then we also have, I think one of the biggest issues is we now have, this has led to background casting companies hiring a welfare worker off of Facebook and also telling them things like, your only responsibility is to keep the kids happy. And that is so far from what I do. I mean, they're not even going to know how to fill out the paperwork by doing that and watching that video. And so that has led to a crisis where we have a whole bunch of extremely unqualified people doing the job of child welfare now on set. And aside from the fact, right, that this has deleted our job pool as set teachers, aside from the fact it's caused us to, productions don't want to pay our union benefits for this position, aside from the fact that, this is something that we have been trained to do, there have already been incidents on set, and this is just going to lead to a tragedy, frankly. And I don't want that to happen, and I can see it coming. And because here's the thing, that scenario I just named where the director says, hey, we just want to talk to you. Can we just keep these kids? These people being hired off of Facebook are going to be so starstruck and not have the experience and not have, frankly, the backbone to say, no, you can't do that. And that's going to lead to more tragedies like Rust. Like we've had people die in this state on set. And I think it's something that definitely needs a lot more attention. But that is another issue.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's a lot of great answers for past Abby or anyone who is wanting to hop into that position in the future.